whenever there's a new development in oncology, then there's kind of reverberation through the research pathways that are being explored. And so, right now, what we're really seeing is a lot of studies that are looking at patients who have already received immunotherapy and maybe that stopped working, or ways that we can maybe modify or improve upon immunotherapy. A lot of targeted therapy options where a patient may qualify for a particular therapy based on molecular testing of their cancer to determine what really is making that cancer grow and how we can target that. So we have a lot of trials in those areas. And what we're really focusing on in our program in particular is trying to, as much as possible, have a study that a patient could enroll in. Any patient who maybe has a cancer that is being actively treated or is at risk of recurrence of that cancer, that we hopefully have some kind of a study that we can offer that patient, because we feel like it's important to offer the most cutting edge therapy that we can, but also at the same time sort of advance the science.
Although not all cancers have been proven to be effectively treated while using immunotherapy, there's a growing list of cancers that can be treated using this method. Now, there's a newcomer on the scene.
Completely different way of treating patients is cellular therapies, where we're really not using a medicine per se, but an actual living cell that sometimes is harvested from the patient and modified. Other times it's an off-the-shelf product that's grown in a lab, but it's actually a living cell that can actually impact cancer. And so some of the newer studies that are kind of exciting are cellular therapy studies.
According to Solomon, the most common misconceptions about clinical trials are that patients are going to be used as guinea pigs. However, this is not the case. Many clinical trials that are well designed are a great option for potentially managing their cancer.
A question that I get a lot from my patients is, what can I do to help manage my cancer? Whether it be diet or those kinds of things. For me, good nutrition is really important. We don't really completely, frankly, understand how to manage the diet in the best way possible. And that's an area of research as well. In fact, we've been looking at some clinical trial options specifically regarding modified diets, because that's a really common question. There's a lot of misconceptions out there. There's some kind of junk science out there that people have to be careful of when they're talking about, managing their diet with their cancer. That's one thing. And the other is physical activity. People tend to like to think if they're not feeling well that they need to rest. In most cases, the opposite is true. Our bodies are a little bit of a use it or lose it kind of a situation. And so if we back off on our physical activity because we don't feel as well, sometimes that can lead to a downward spiral. So I really encourage people to be as physically active as they can as well.